Today, we're getting into a really compelling redefinition of intelligence.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's basically saying forget how fast you can think.
Right. The new sort of vital competency is being able to rethink, to unlearn, and to actually find the joy of being wrong.
Which is so hard because our brains just, they fight against it. The research points to this core barrier. We're all mental misers.
Mental misers, what does that mean exactly?
It's just that it takes a lot of cognitive energy to evaluate new information, especially if it, contradicts what we already think. It's just easier to seize and freeze on a belief.
Okay, so it's more than just being lazy. The material digs deeper into something called the totalitarian ego.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds intense.
It is. Think of it like a little dictator in your head whose only job is to protect your self-image. It just filters everything.
So it's using things like confirmation bias to make sure you only see stuff that proves you're already right.
Exactly. And it treats changing your mind as a kind of personal loss, an identity threat.
And the really wild part is that a high IQ can actually make this worse.
Yeah, that's the paradox, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
If you're smarter, you're just better at building these really sophisticated arguments for why you are right all along, even when you're clearly not.
So your intelligence becomes a weapon to defend your ego instead of finding the truth. How do you even begin to break that cycle?
Well, the research suggests you have to change your entire mindset. You have to get out of what they call the competitive modes.
The preacher, the prosecutor,
And the politician. Right. The preacher is protecting their sacred beliefs, the prosecutor is proving someone else wrong, and the politician is just trying to win approval.
And in all of those, being wrong is basically failure.
Total failure. The only way out is to adopt what they call the scientist mindset.
Okay, so you treat every belief you have as just a temporary hypothesis.
Precisely. It's all up for testing. The goal isn't to be right anymore. The goal is to get it right. Suddenly, changing your mind isn't a failure. It's a sign of integrity.
To do that, though, you'd need some serious detachment.
You need two kinds, really. First is temporal detachment. You have to separate who you are now from who you were in the past.
So my firm opinion from last year is, it's like a bad haircut. It was a thing, but it's not me anymore.
That's a perfect way to put it. And the second, which is even bigger, is identifying detachment.
Decoupling your opinions from your actual identity.
Yeah. If your identity is, I'm a person who seeks the truth, then finding out you were wrong is a win. You're one step closer to the truth.
This sounds great in theory, but let's talk about the real world. The sources point to BlackBerry, right? A huge real-world cost.
Oh, the classic example. The CEO, Mike Lazaridis, his identity was completely fused with the physical keyboard. He suffered from what they call identity foreclosure.
So he just couldn't see past it. He couldn't adapt to touch screens, and the company became, well, obsolete.
And then you contrast that with Steve Jobs at Apple.
Who was also really stubborn at first.
Very stubborn. He initially hated the idea of an app store, but he built a challenge network around him, people who weren't afraid to push back.
And he listened. That points to this idea of confident humility.
Exactly. It's having the confidence in your ability to learn, but the humility to know that your current way might be wrong. It's the key to seeing your own blind spots.
So for anyone listening who's managing a team, this brings up a huge question. Do you hold people accountable for the result, the outcome, or for the process they used?
The research argues really strongly for process. Outcome accountability, where you only care about the final numbers, can make people hide their mistakes. They take shortcuts.
Because they're afraid to be wrong.
Right. But process accountability, where you reward good thinking and sound logic, even if the result isn't perfect, that encourages the scientist mindset. It fosters real adaptation.
And that really is the main takeaway here for you. The world is changing so fast, the half-life of what you know is shrinking. So the biggest advantage you can have is to see your own beliefs as temporary. To see your ignorance not as a weakness, but as an opportunity.
That's it. The research really concludes that intelligence is no longer about how much you know. It's about how well you can doubt what you already know. True wisdom is knowing what you don't know. That's the edge.